First tonight, our investigative reporter Ann Emerson has new information in the death of Boeing whistleblower John Barnett.
Carolina tell NBC News they are aware of the death of a former Boeing employee turned whistleblower. 62-year-old John Barnett found dead on Friday.
I know that he did not commit suicide. There's no way.
In a world where flying higher and faster is the dream, one man dared to slow things down in the name of safety. John Barnett, a seasoned Boeing inspector, found himself at a crossroads, faced with a choice that would alter the course of his life and ultimately lead to a tragic end. This story is about John Barnett, a guy who spent a good chunk of his life, nearly 30 years, making sure planes were safe to fly at Boeing. He worked his way up to a pretty important job, looking after the quality of Boeing's 787 Dreamliner planes in South Carolina. Imagine being the person who gives the final thumbs up, saying a plane is ready to fly. That was John's job, and he took it super seriously. John's journey wasn't just about moving from one Boeing factory to another. It was about sticking to what he believed was right, even when it got tough. He noticed some things weren't up to snuff with how these planes were being put together, and he couldn't stay silent. Speaking out about these issues meant challenging a giant in the aviation world, a choice that would weigh heavily on him. This tale isn't just about airplanes. It's about the courage it takes to stand up for safety in a world that's always rushing to go faster. John's alarm bells didn't ring without reason. Working on the 787 Dreamliner, he saw things that made him uneasy, from the way parts were put together to the final checks before planes were sent flying. It wasn't about a single bolt or panel. It was about a pattern that didn't sit right with him. John wasn't the type to let this slide. He knew that when it comes to flying, there's no room for maybe it's okay. He started to speak up, pointing out where things were falling short. Imagine being in his shoes, telling a powerhouse like Boeing that there are big problems. It wasn't just about calling out mistakes. It was about trying to fix a system that was rushing more than it was checking. John's fight wasn't with the people he worked with. It was with a process that seemed to put speed over safety. This stand for safety brought John into the spotlight, but not in a way anyone would wish for. It turned his world upside down, challenging his career and even how he viewed the industry he loved. Speaking out meant facing pushback from a system resistant to slowing down and taking a closer look. But John, driven by a commitment to keeping flyers safe, felt he had no other choice. This part of his story is about the courage it takes to say, "Stop and listen," in a world that's always moving fast. The battle John Barnett faced wasn't just against the issues he spotted in Boeing's production line. It was also a deeply personal and legal struggle against retaliation he felt from the company after voicing his concerns. Filing a complaint under the AIR-21 Whistleblower Protection Program in 2017, Barnett alleged that Boeing's actions against him were due to his outspokenness on quality and safety. This move marked a significant escalation in his efforts to address what he saw as critical safety oversights. In preparation for his lawsuit, Barnett's deposition was a pivotal moment. His lawyer, Robert Turkowitz, highlighted the importance of these proceedings, noting that John did not appear for his scheduled deposition continuation and was unresponsive, leading to immediate concern for his well-being. This level of dedication to the cause, to the point of enduring significant personal stress and legal battles, underscores the gravity with which Barnett approached the issue. It was really weighing on him what was going on, and reliving all these things that had happened and the stress it had caused, Turkowitz said, reflecting on the profound impact the ordeal had on Barnett. As this legal fight unfolded, the stakes were high, not just for Barnett personally, but for the broader implications regarding airline safety and whistleblower protection. This case wasn't just about one man's battle. It was about setting a precedent for how safety concerns are addressed within the aviation industry and ensuring that those who raise the alarm are protected and heard. Barnett's steadfast resolve to make a difference, despite the personal toll it took, serves as a stark reminder of the challenges whistleblowers face. His story is a powerful testimony to the courage it takes to stand up against systemic issues, particularly in industries where the safety of countless individuals is on the line. John's final days paint a really tough picture. He was in Charleston, deep into this big legal fight against Boeing when things took a tragic turn. They found him in his truck at a hotel, and it looked like he had taken his own life. This was just heartbreaking for everyone who knew what he was fighting for. The local authorities said it seemed like a self-inflicted gunshot wound was the cause. That's hard to hear, knowing all that John was going through. After John was found, the police started looking into what happened, trying to piece everything together. This wasn't just about figuring out how John died, but also about understanding the struggle he was going through. His fight wasn't just for his own sake. It was about making flying safer for everyone. John's story is a sad reminder of how hard it can be to stand up for what's right, especially when it feels like you're up against the world. It shows why we need to support people who speak out about problems and make sure they're not going through it alone. John's bravery in pointing out safety issues is a call to action for all of us, to not only listen, but to make sure we're doing everything we can to fix those problems. John's story, though it ended in tragedy, has sparked a much-needed conversation about safety in the aviation industry and the treatment of whistleblowers. As we look to the legacy he leaves behind, it's clear that his fight was not in vain. There's a growing awareness now, more than ever, of the importance of listening to those who raise safety concerns, no matter how inconvenient those truths might be. In the wake of John's passing, there's a call to action for companies like Boeing to reevaluate how they respond to safety concerns raised by their employees. It's a reminder that creating an environment where people feel safe to speak up without fear of retaliation is crucial. After all, these aren't just workplace issues. They're matters of public safety that affect thousands of people who fly every day. John's courage to stand up and speak out also serves as an inspiration to others in the industry who might be hesitant to voice their concerns. It's a reminder that it takes just one person to make a difference, but it shouldn't have to cost them everything. There's a push now for stronger protections for whistleblowers and for a shift in corporate culture that prioritizes safety over silence. The legal battle John was a part of is continuing, a testament to his dedication to making a difference. His lawyer, expressing a determination to carry on John's legacy, plans to proceed with the case on behalf of John's family. This legal fight and the broader battle for aviation safety is far from over. It's about ensuring that the lessons learned from John's story lead to real changes that make flying safer for everyone. In remembering John Barnett, we're reminded of the price of progress and the value of perseverance. His story is a call to all of us to support those who bravely point out when things need to change. It's about getting back to the basics of what makes flying safe and ensuring that the aviation industry lives up to the trust we place in it every time we board a plane. As we wrap up John Barnett's story, it's a good moment to think about what all of this means going forward. John, who worked hard to make sure planes were safe, showed us how important it is to speak up when something's not right, even though it was really tough for him. His story tells us that in the world of making and flying planes, being able to talk openly about safety issues is super important. John's efforts remind us that making things better and safer should always be the goal, and nobody should be afraid to help make that happen. Looking to the future, we can see John's bravery as a push for better rules and attitudes when it comes to safety. It's a nudge for big companies to listen more and act on what they hear to make sure flying is as safe as can be. For everyone else, John's story is a reminder to keep an eye out and support people who stand up for what's right. By backing up whistleblowers and asking for high safety standards, we all play a part in making things better. Remembering John Barnett isn't just about looking back at what he did, it's about continuing to fight for a world where safety and honesty are top priorities. His story is a powerful example of how one person's actions can inspire a bigger change, showing us that the journey towards better safety and openness keeps going.